Hey everybody, what is up? This is the Just Face It podcast, and this week we've actually got something a little different for you guys, and we are going to have our first guest. So, we have with us today our normal hosts, the Sycoskrast, TheMockingJace, I'm Smitch, and next to me is the lovely Tater, and then our guest today is RevTec. So, Jace, if you want to take us and lead us off and introduce our guest since you know him the best, and then we'll let him talk about himself just a little bit.
Yeah, so this is RevTec here. He's a buddy of mine from days over on Twitch. And yeah, Rev, why don't you just give us a little intro on you and tell us more about you?
Yeah, been doing streaming for way too long. Way too long. I'm on Twitch, but this man over here has been trying to convince me for long. Come on Facebook, buddy. Come on Facebook. Like, I have to hear Jace like in Discord. Hey, buddy, you gonna come on Facebook, buddy? You gonna do it? You gonna do it? So Jace has been helping me on the Facebook side, and I thank him for it. It's been an amazing. It's different. It's different than what I'm used to, but it's really nice.
Cool.
That's a little bit about me.
Yeah, I'm glad you're over here testing the waters out, and so you've been on Twitch for a long time. Now you're over on Facebook. How long actually have you been streaming now? Length of time.
Oh man, since Justin TV days. So that's been a very long time. Multiple different accounts. Learned a lot. I've been learning a lot over the last 11 years.
That's a long time. I don't know if I've ever actually talked to someone that's been around since the Justin TV days. So,
well, I could tell you, 360p and 480p back in the day was not fun.
But I know last week we were actually just talking about like sort of the history of streaming and all that and stuff, and we were talking a bit about Justin TV, its origins, and I don't think any of us were on it around that time.
No.
I'll say this: two platforms were around back then. It was Ustream and Justin TV. Ustream was really good, and then they started charging for their platform, and then you had Justin TV, which was like the breath of fresh air. And then one day it was just like what happened with Beam. I was sitting, and one day they just like announced, "Oh, we're merging with Twitch. Hey guys, all your stuff is moving over." And then the crap. We didn't know what was going on, and then we were just like, "Oh, this is Twitch. Oh, it looks just like Justin TV. Oh, okay,
everything's fine.
What's the difference? Okay. What's the difference?"
Awesome. So what originally got you into streaming? What made you start doing that?
I was doing Xbox 360 game party chat, and at the time, I think what was the game? It was Halo, and it was it Nazi Zombies? Wasn't it back in the day? I believe Call of Duty. I think it was what was the game? I think it was
World at War, Black Ops.
World at War, and I would sit with these group of guys while I was in high school. So like I was literally like 17 at the time, and we would sit like and play zombies, Halo until like an hour before I had to go to school. And then it became such a thing, and I wanted to share the experience with everybody, the fun experience, and tried multiple different things. Back in the day, we did not have capture cards. We had a thing called a digital camera, and we would run the red and white and the yellow to the digital camera, and then we shot the camera to the TV. That's how that went. For the longest time, we pressed zoom, and then Best Buy's starting to sell the Dazzle, so let's go with that. And that was equally bad. And then there's the Roxio game capture card. Let's go with that next. And then Elgato just came out of nowhere and was like revolutionary. The Elgato HC30, and then it became the 60. Then for you know it, we got cards that we own now. But it was just to share my experience of having fun with friends, and that's how it's always been with me. Now, minus a couple of years of tipping point, leaving, seeing other platforms, trying it out, and I thought Beam was going to be the whole entire thing, because they had the platform to they featured the smaller streamer, kind of what Facebook does now. Facebook reminds me a lot of what Beam's mantra was. Feature the smaller streamer, get to know people, get it out there, and, get some views and get some traction to what you're doing. The difference is with Twitch is saturated. The thing. Most people I have noticed go over to Facebook because there is more featurement, more.
Real quick, Rev, I don't mean to cut you off. Your mic's cutting in and out a little bit. I don't know if there's anything you can do on your end for that.
How about now? Is that better for you?
Yeah, just let me turn you down a little bit.
Let me tell you what that is.
You're good.
Is that better for you?
Yeah, go for it.
But I noticed on Facebook it's more like Beam back in the day, where it's more featurement, getting to meet people, and it's faster. It's not, I sit and wait around for a view to come around to me on Twitch. It's much faster, right in your face. Minus, I just got to get my bit rates and everything satisfied with Facebook and get it right. But that was my main struggle because my internet does not like Facebook for some reason. It's very weird. But those are my experiences with streaming over the years. I've been doing it for too long. I should have retired a long time ago. But I kept going because I have wonderful people. Like I got to meet you guys today, and it's just the wonderful people that I get to meet that keep me going.
I mean, I feel like I've heard a lot of people that as they hit different, I guess, barriers is what you would call it, they were like, yeah, I feel like I should give this up. But honestly, personally, I don't think I could ever see giving it up, just because especially here recently, for anyone who doesn't know, we moved from South Carolina to Wisconsin, so like basically half the country away. And if we hadn't met the people that we have over the past few months in streaming, I don't know if we would be surviving right now, honestly, because like we don't have people that we can go hang out with right now, but I can basically rely on almost every night there's someone on that we've met through streaming that's like, hey, you want to play a couple pickup games? And that social aspect, I think, has kind of saved us since we moved here. So just that kind of reminded me of that when you said that.
Yeah, and you also have, when you play with a group of people, you get to know them on a personal note after the fact. So the cool part with streaming is you get to know them personally. And then, down the road, I've met people, offhand, by meeting them in the real, eventually share those relationships to the point to where, you do go to the events and whatnot, and you get to see them and you get to experience cool things. And that's the cool part of streaming I have found.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I think that's one of the awesome things about streaming that I think every streamer has experienced for the most part is the friendships you make out of it. Just meeting other streamers or viewers who want to come play with you. It's awesome. It's a great way to socialize.
Yeah.
So I think next we're going to move on to some of the news that has been happening this week. I'm going to let Justin take this one over because he knows more about it than me. NVIDIA made a big announcement this week.
NVIDIA did make a big announcement this week. They are making what is called their Super line. It's an updated version of their current 20 series line with some actually pretty impressive specs. Most impressive is the 2060. The 2060 is now the equivalent to last generation's 1070 Ti with their Super. It's got 8 gigs of DDR6 RAM, which is the first time that a 60 has ever had that much RAM. Generally, they're in between 3 and 6 gigs. The other two, the 2080 Super and the 2070 Super, have the same amount of RAM. They just have a higher memory speed, and they have a better memory bus, which is awesome. And for streaming, they're really impressive because they can easily handle 4K streaming. Now, currently, we're not on platforms that really allow that very well. I don't know if Twitch does 4K or not, but I know Facebook does not. So that's cool for future-proofing your graphics card for your stream. But the most impressive to me is the power consumption. So generally, when a new card comes out, everybody worries that they're going to have to get a new power supply because it's going to eat up all the power. That's not the case with these ones. They are a little more power hungry. Like, for instance, the 2060 goes from 160 watt to 175. The 2070 is up to 215 now, and the 2080 is up to 250. So most people can still get by with like a 650 watt and not have any issues there. I'm interested to see exactly what this is going to do, like what they're going to be able to do with ray tracing and what they're going to be able to do with more 4K gaming. But until the actual cards come out and we can see some full benchmarks, I am a little hesitant. Just because they said with the 1660 it was going to be as good as the 1070, and then that turned out not to be the case at all. For those who are looking to upgrade your graphics card and you just haven't done so because of the prices, don't worry. The 2080 no longer will cost you $1,100. It's going to cost you $700. And the 2070 is going to cost you $500. The 2060 will be a great entry level at $399. So those are going to be pretty awesome. The 2060 actually comes out in a couple days, so we'll see some benchmarks from there. And I think the 2070 is coming out on the same day. The 2080 won't come out until the end of the month on the 23rd.
Awesome. Sounds awesome. I'm sure, too, if anybody has any more questions, too, I'm sure Sycoskrast is willing to answer them during one of his streams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or email us. I'll answer you back.
Real quick,
Yeah.
for anyone who may not be tech savvy, can you give me like the 30-second breakdown of what this means for
What do I need to know
Yeah.
for
Good
my
idea.
life?
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
layman's terms? 30-second breakdown. Go.
Layman's terms. They're really fast. They handle good graphics. They're monsters.
I'll take that. And it's going to bring down current generation prices, right?
Yes. So if you want to buy for instance, I just bought a 2080 and that was $1,100. That's going to bring that down to closer to $500. So you can, not hurt your wallet like I did. But I'm happy they're going this direction because it brings more people into the NVIDIA side of gaming than as much as I love AMD processors. I've never been a big fan of their graphics cards. That's just personally my opinion. You can crucify me in the comments if you want, but that's just my opinion. But I would like to see what AMD's answer to the Super Series is going to be, and see if we're going to have two different versions of the Navi come out. But yeah, if you're looking for a good entry-level PC, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, just wait a couple days till the 2060 comes out. You'll get current generation specs for half the price than all of us here have paid to build the computer.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Justin. And moving on to our next bit of news. The Sony Interactive Entertainment president and CEO, Jim Ryan, said that content is more important than ever before. And right now, Sony is considering acquiring more development studios as it gets ready for the launch of the PlayStation 5. To me, it makes sense. I mean, you got Xbox and PlayStation always butting heads against each other. Xbox is now up to 14 studios that they've now they've acquired to launch upcoming first-party titles. So it only makes sense to me that Sony is getting ready to do the same thing. You guys have any thoughts on it? Is there any studios you would like to see Sony maybe pick up to do a first-party game?
I'm honestly not sure. I do feel like, just as kind of like a general thing, that Sony is going to kind of have to scramble to get those studios, because I think this is something we brought up in previous weeks, that they almost have started to get like comfortable with the fact that they're ahead. Whereas, like, I feel like the past 2 to 3 years, every year at E3, you hear Microsoft, like, we've acquired this studio, and now this studio, and then it's like studio. And a lot of them are, like, decent studios that people already know about, and Now I think PlayStation's like, oh crap, we should have been doing that this whole time. But I don't really have any particular studios that come to mind when I think about what I want them to acquire. I've honestly been a big fan of the recent exclusives that PlayStation has put out. So I'm hoping they'll just continue to add to that list.
Yeah, I mean, Sony has a pretty good roster of studios as is. I don't know if there's anyone in particular I'd like to see them get, but I would like to see. I know it's something I'll never see, but I would love to be like in the room watching Microsoft and Sony having a bidding war over a smaller developer to try and get him to come over.
That would be cool.
Great image in my head.
That'd be really awesome for whatever studio it was.
Yeah, see, I would love that
Right.
for like the individual studios, but I'm just like, I just want to play games on my computer, guys. I don't want to have to run a console. I can't do a controller.
Yeah, I just want to see Sony do more with crossplay, more putting some of their titles out on PC. Like they could do it. I know why they don't do it, but it'd be nice.
Yeah.
I think maybe I would like to see. I don't have anyone in particular, but I would like to see Sony maybe pick up a studio that's more multiplayer focused.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, even though Microsoft's kind of fallen short with this last generation, they've always been on top of Xbox Live and gaming, and they've been more multiplayer focused, where Sony has tended to be more single player narrative focused. So it'd be fun to see something like that come back, because I was trying to think of the last real multiplayer kind of exclusive that they had, and I was thinking maybe Killzone.
Yeah,
And I think it's been a while since one of those.
that was the launch title with the PS4. Killzone.
What Sony needs to bring back would be great is Soulcom. Bring that back from the grave.
Yeah.
Bring that back. That was a game that we all played as a kid.
For sure. Yeah,
They need to. They should.
There's always like this thin thread of a hope every E3 that I'm just like, just give me the word. I don't even need a trailer. I don't need anything. Just say we're working on it.
The last Soulcom game made me cry. I was like, what is this? But Sony with the bidding war, that would be nice with Microsoft, because I'd like to see the competition on both sides, because it makes it interesting as for gamers. Prices. For prices and smaller studios, I would like to see more smaller studios get picked up instead of dying off.
Yeah, that's for sure. I feel like we've gone through a period recently where we've seen some of those smaller studios kind of falling off that put out decent games. They just couldn't afford to stay afloat. Yeah,
there's been a lot. There's been, I was thinking Telltale went down, which they weren't exactly small, but they weren't, AAA size.
Weren't there... was that money or was that other issues in the studio, though?
That was money.
Was that one money? Okay. I know around the same time there was like turmoil in other studios. I didn't know if they were one of the ones that fell into that. So,
I mean, they might have had other issues going on.
Yeah.
I think money usually causes other problems.
That's true.
But,
yeah.
And then I was trying to think of. I'm spacing it. They did I'm spacing the title. They did a melee-based multiplayer game. It was on PC. I think it just came to Xbox, but they went down. And then they did a battle royale, which was kind of their last ditch effort. This 80s theme one. You ride around on bicycles. And help me, guys. I'm spacing names.
Radical Heights. Yeah.
Radical Heights. I don't remember the name of the studio. They were another one that everybody thought they were doing well. And then, they ended up shutting down.
I think it was called Blue Keyhole, something like that. Cliffy B.
Boss Key?
Boss Key
Games.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
sounds right.
I got you guys. I got Google.
Sorry.
Google
That
for
was
the
good.
win.
But yeah, there have been a lot of smaller studios that have put out, maybe even if they're not like 10 out of 10 games, like they've been solid games, and it's always sad to see them shut down, or a game servers, shut down because the studio is now defunct. So that would be great if Sony and Microsoft could start this bidding war to pick up some of those smaller studios. I would love that.
Yeah.
Moving on to our next bit of news. There are rumors going around that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be coming to PC sometime soon. Twitter user JacoMako51 discovered some source codes from the social club that contained a system of basically Xbox achievements or PlayStation's trophies, and it was used. It's similar to what was used in Grand Theft Auto 5 online for PC. So Red Dead Redemption 2 may be coming to PC soon. I kind of always figured it was.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest,
it kind of follows suit with the way that GTA 5 was the last one, yeah. Where the PC release of the game ended up being about a year and a half after the original launch of the game, and it honestly did really well on the PC community, and still has, for anyone who doesn't know, a very thriving role-playing Twitch/streaming community. I don't know if it's as popular on other platforms, but I know that's a big thing with that. I'm curious how it'll translate to Red Dead, because I feel like Red Dead isn't as well received as GTA was. Like, don't get me wrong, it was a good game, but I feel like the online is still definitely a work in progress for it. So
Yeah, I love the story, and I have put 200 hours into the online,
oh wow.
but it's not nearly as good as GTA 5's online. I'm hoping that, like, with the stuff that you can do on PC to keep the games going, it'll do better. Like the level editor for Grand Theft Auto 5 is what really kept it going on PC. The role playing with 5M is really what kept it going. So if we could get something like that for Red Dead, I'll be more than happy to pick it up on PC. But as it sits now, I'm happy that all of the PC players will get to enjoy the game. The story's amazing, but I'm very iffy on how long it'll survive.
They'll have to be careful when they release it too.
Yeah,
I honestly believe it'll come over. Or like all the editor and you'll see 5M take that on. I'm sure all that will come over, because those are features that are specific to PC that you don't see on console.
That's true.
So I'm sure that'll pick it up, and it may not be as thriving as GTA 5, but I think there's definitely a player base who want to get into it. I mean, role playing a Western, that sounds,
yeah, that'd be amazing.
sounds fun. I
mean,
want to be a cowboy.
You can always have fun hog tying people and putting them on the back of your horse. So
Exactly.
But
The
then if a
hog tie.
lawman finds you, then you have a bounty on your head.
No, it's fine. You just shoot him. Trust me,
Red
Hog Tie Squad has been going around doing
Red Dead
that.
Redemption should come to the PC. It should have been here a long time ago.
Should have been day one. I was honestly like holding out when Red Dead, like when it first came out. I was honestly holding out, and I think I only lasted about like 3-4 months, because I just wanted, I didn't want to buy it on console and then have them turn around and say it's coming out on PC, and I wanted to play it on PC in the first place, but I gave in. I bought it on Xbox.
Imagine it with ray tracing. Imagine it with ray tracing on that, like
I
with the
know.
buildings and
Yeah.
stuff. That would look really cool.
Just
Yeah.
one.
yeah, the one thing I have to say about it, if it does end up coming to PC and it's like GTA and it's a year and a half later, I hope that means that they're doing it right and rebuilding it and optimizing it for PC, which is typically
Yeah.
why I think they wait to put them out. But
Yeah, that's what they did with Grand Theft Auto 5. That's why it took so long for it to come out. They rebuilt it.
yeah,
Imagining the role playing community with that game, if it did drop on PC, how many Walker Texas Rangers they're gonna have going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
And Chuck Norris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll be in it. I'm going to be Waylon Jennings, hitting the road, traveling cross country, playing my songs.
I'm gonna make John Wayne.
there you go.
And then our next bit of news, Mike Pondsmith is who is the franchise creator of Cyberpunk 2077 out of CD Projekt Red, has been talking in some interviews and said that a movie version of Cyberpunk 2077 is much more of a possibility now, thanks to Keanu Reeves providing his voice and likeness to the character Johnny Silverhand in the game. Yeah.
Opinions.
I honestly, without knowing very much about what the game itself, I don't really have a opinion. It'd make for a cool movie set, but I don't know much about the story. So
Yeah, I think in my opinion, I love movies as a medium, but I also understand that there are things better translated via video games. So it may be one of those things that if they take Cyberpunk and Cyberpunk has this really awesome story, which I feel like it's going to, that maybe a movie would be successful if they did a spin-off. But I feel like if they try and go in and kind of follow the story of the game or get too close to that story of the game, I'm not sure how successful it will be. Because I feel like the story that they're going for is probably going to be better told in a long format that video games allow for.
Yeah, I agree. It reminds me of a couple weeks ago, Rod Ferguson, the creative lead over at the Coalition in charge of the Gears War games. He said in an interview that they're planning. They've been talking about doing a Gears of War movie for a while, and he clarified in the interview that it's going to be an alternate universe, and it made a lot of fans upset. But he went back and he said, "What I'm just trying to say is we're not going to be following the game story verbatim. It'll still be the same characters and all that." He said, "I'm not personally writing it, but the script writers were given, the freedom to have it make sense as a movie." And I think that's the smart way to go because, I mean, we've seen how many video games turned into movies over the last 20, 30 years and how many have been successful.
Yeah.
Hey, the Mario Brother movie was amazing.
Hey, that Street Fighter movie, man.
Sonic looks great.
Yeah. And I think it always comes down to because they're trying to pay they're trying to they're trying to stick it too close to the games. It really makes me think of the Assassin's Creed movie that came out, and I was actually kind of semi excited for that one. The trailers looked cool and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came out, I actually went and watched it with my mother because she doesn't play video games, and I wanted to know what her take on it was. Having no idea that it was based off of a video game, anything like that. I wanted to see what her thoughts were on it as just a movie,
Mm-hmm.
and she was confused, severely confused. And she's like me; she watches a lot of movies. She's a big movie buff. But she was confused about things like the making the jump, into when they're jumping down, and the whole thing about being out of sync and stuff like that, desyncing, which they were just, it was trying to stick too close to gameplay mechanics rather than making a good story.
Yeah. Well, I feel like the one, I wouldn't say it was super successful, but the few that I do remember being kind of successful are kind of what Halo did. So there's a lot of little short movies and things like that occur in the Halo universe, but they don't necessarily follow Master Chief. So I can't remember which one I'm thinking of in particular, but it follows a squad through their training and stuff like that. I think it was ODST based, maybe. I can't remember.
It was about kids going through their officer training, and then Master Chief doesn't even show up till the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Of the movie. It was named after the ship.
The ship. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's not going to come to me. But that seemed to have been done pretty well in my opinion.
Yeah, and that actually wasn't bad, and they had cool things like that made sense with the story and the narrative universe of Halo, like when they took down the big hunter and then he turns into a pile of worms.
Mm-hmm.
That's something from the game's lore. Just a little quick second, but it's not focusing on gameplay mechanics or trying to turn that into something story.
Yeah, and the Master Chief showing up the last 10 minutes, it's for people who know Halo, they're going to be like, oh, it's him. But for people who don't, it's it's fine.
Yeah. So I think they've had a few good things like that. I think Halo is probably one of the more successful just out of their kind of short stories. And we're not talking about their TV series that came out with, what was it, Halo 4? It's more like that movie. And then they've had a couple of animated ones that have been good. They had one about Master Chief as kind of a young child, and it had a different kind of animation style. And then they had the what was it called, like Halo Stories or something like that. Came out like 10 years ago.
I honestly don't remember.
But that was a collection of like short animated stories that were like 2 to 5 minutes a piece, and that was received pretty well. So, but it is odd, them talking about a movie for a game that hasn't even come out yet.
Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, just hope for the best and expect the worst, I guess, is kind of what I'm doing.
Go in low expectations, and then you can only be surprised.
Exactly.
I want them to make a VR port so I can hug Keanu Reeves.
I need that full body suit going on in the VR headset.
Yeah.
So give him a hug so I can feel it.
I want to see if he does the no touchy hug in video game form too.
I mean, if they do make a movie and Keanu's in it, I'll go see it. Doesn't matter what the price is. I'll be down. Maybe that's what they're banking on. And then coming up, also we've got the Gears of War 5 multiplayer tech test has been detailed along with its recommended specs. It's scheduled to the Versus multiplayer tech test is scheduled to begin on July 19th, and it's going to include your basic multiplayer stuff. And if you guys are interested in Gears 5, go ahead and sign up for it. Try and get in that tech test, and it gives you a good chance to play it and allows them to do a stress test of their servers, make sure they can handle the weight of everybody that's going to be jumping on it.
If you're interested, do it, because more breaking it now equals better launch.
Less breaking it when it launches.
Yes.
Let's hope, because Gears of War 4, me and Jace, remember that headache, dude. Trying to play with each other, on Gears of War 4 co-op, it was a nightmare.
It was brutal. Yeah, we tried this, I don't know, it was a month or two ago, trying playing Gears 4 on PC. And mind you, this is before Game Pass came out for PC, and Microsoft kind of revamped their whole PC side. It was tough. We were just trying to play through the campaign together, and we couldn't even load in. One of us would load in and be able to start playing, and it'd boot the other person, or vice versa. We were able to get a little bit of multiplayer, but it was not smooth.
I think we should have clipped that and literally said 1 hour later, because that's how long that was.
That's exactly how long it took.
That's awful.
Yeah,
it was painful.
I'm on the side that I had no issues with Gears of War 4 on PC whatsoever.
Playing with people, or just by yourself?
Yeah, I went through co-op, no problem on it.
I'm glad to hear that.
I don't know why you had those issues.
He says that, but he hates you a little on the inside. So
yeah, I mean, specification-wise, I mean, you don't have to have that strong of a computer to really play it. They're recommending like last generation or 2 generations ago is like the 970 and just a i5 or a Ryzen 3. But I would think ideally you'd want an i7 or an R7 and better graphics card, newer generations to get full.
Yeah, its minimum requirements is pretty low. It's pretty much what my first PC build was.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good for recommended is not bad either. Recommended and minimal is not bad at all.
Yeah, then they got the ideal on there, which is,
and then the hard drive space for it to be taken up, that's not that bad either for a tech test.
Yeah.
So the tech test is going to be available for preload on July 17th, and then it'll start on the 19th. And then it's going to be running over 2 different weekend sessions. From 10 a.m. on the 19th to the 21st and 10 a.m. on the 26th to the 29th. I'm definitely going to be hopping on that. Looking forward to doing it. What they say, you'll need to access the test, you need to either be a subscriber to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate or Xbox Game Pass for PC, or have pre-ordered the game from the Windows Store or certain physical retailers.
or.
Few options. And then our next bit of news is there was some big Warframe announcements, which I will hand over to Tater and Smitch because they know way more about it than I do.
Real quick, I know Justin / Sycoskrast earlier said he's played it. Have you played Warframe, Rev?
Yes, I have on different platforms.
Okay, cool. So you may be as excited for this news as we are. So for anyone who doesn't know, TennoCon is a convention that Digital Extremes, the developer, publisher, both of Warframe, I can't remember, definitely developer, maybe the publisher, puts on every year. This last week, I think it wrapped up yesterday, and what they do is they kind of have everything Warframe surrounded, and then they do kind of a developer sit down and talk about what's coming next with the game. And this year in particular, they kind of had a lot of fat, juicy stuff to talk about. They talked about 2 different story expansions, a couple of different new Warframes that are coming, and it's not a story expansion, but kind of. It's more of a mechanic expansion that they're doing, and I'm kind of trying to break those down in detail as best I can. So one of the first things that they brought up and they talked about was the Empyrean expansion, and personally, this is what I am most excited for. They were previously codenaming this Railjack, and what it is it's going to be a system added into Warframe that's essentially space pirates and ship combat. So traditional Warframe, your ship's kind of the hub that you come back to after missions, and that's really all it was. You loaded in and out of missions from there. You saw it in your screen when you were loading into missions. But now you're going to have this ship that they call a Railjack, which is essentially like this huge combat-ready ship, ready to go out into the universe. And once you get on that ship, you load into missions, but as opposed to a traditional loading screen, they're actually making it all seamless, where instead of a loading screen, whoever's driving the ship currently will get like a warp drive animation, I guess. I know I'm kind of going into details, but anyway, it's kind of seamless in that regard, and then you're going to be using your ship to fight, and you can have crews up to 4, I believe, people that kind of help pilot auxiliary guns on the ship, and then you can actually go out and overtake enemy ships, and then your friends can drive those as well. So that's kind of where the space pirate combat comes in, and it's essentially another game that they're building onto Warframe, in my opinion. So that was kind of cool to hear about.
Also, most exciting part about that is that all the views are completely gyroscopic, so those of us who get incredibly motion sick won't have that issue with this, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, so in the demo they showed the person who was driving the ship was like a drunk, swaying back and forth and rotating, and the people on the guns on the side were completely unaffected. But that's kind of cool. Do you guys have any opinions or thoughts on that before I keep going?
Yeah, that sounds very awesome. My favorite part of the Star Wars Battlefront games were honestly the space fights, so I'm excited.
Space fights are always fun.
Yeah.
Space ninjas and space pirates all in one.
Yeah, I'm excited for it to be more stable on the Switch, so I'm happy about that.
That's true. I haven't really got into it on the Switch just because it feels so natural on PC, but I've definitely picked it up a couple times on the Switch, and it needs some tweaking.
Yes, it does.
It was on the Switch.
It runs very interesting. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised how they got it to run on the Switch, though.
That's very true.
Doom level and Skyrim level interesting on the Switch? Because those don't run well either.
Better than both of those.
Okay, so that's cool.
It's a little bit better, but if you start going too fast, you can definitely tell you're playing on a Switch.
There's some like motion blur and like some slowing down that you can see.
Yeah. The other kind of cool thing that they're doing along with, I think it's coming with that expansion, is they're actually doing a complete game engine overhaul. So I don't know what they call their current engine, but they're calling the new one that they're going to be putting the game onto the Warframe engine. And for anyone interested, you should totally go check it out. They showed off some videos in their live demo that they did, and they drastically increased like the quality of their shadows and textures, and overall I think it's just going to make it a more graphically impressive game. So since the game's kind of been running for a while now, they decided it was time to just kind of bite the bullet and do that graphic overhaul. So that's interesting to see that they're doing that. I'm sure there's a lot of back-end work going into that, completely switching what engine they're rendering the game on. But it looks really cool for anyone interested. And then just real quick, I want to touch, there are kind of 3 story things that came out. The smaller one being what came out actually last night. They were like, available now. And that's the second part of a quest called Emissary. And then they've got 2 more things coming. One called The New War, where there's these creatures that are... It's hard to explain. They're like basically the most powerful creatures in the universe, and I think they've been slumbering for a long time, and now they've come to kind of try and retake the universe. And the cinematic they show just shows them like crashing through all the enemy faction ship, and then they land on the planet and everything's slaughtered, and then they're like 10 feet tall. It's ridiculous. So lots of exciting stuff coming there, and then they gave a brief teaser of their next story. The best thing I can say for that is just go check it out if you're interested in the game, because I'm going to butcher it if I try and explain what it is.
No idea what was happening, but it looked really cool.
Everyone watching it was just like, what?
What is happening?
But I think basically they're just taking like a jump to the future, but they're calling it a paradox, so I'm not sure if it's going to be like a side scroller related to the main game. But yeah. That's kind of all the exciting news from TennoCon. And then, completely unrelated to Warframe, they're donating $250,000 to some lucky winner of their contest to try and send them to outer space. Like, literal, actual outer space.
Our outer space.
That's pretty cool.
It was this,
That's
like,
awesome.
really random, like, what? I was like, so they're helping NASA? And then we read into it more, and we're like, no, just, like, some random person's gonna be shot into space.
Yeah, I wanna sign up.
All you have to do is play Warframe. It's literally all you have to do is to enter their contest is to play Warframe.
Sounds like I need to start playing again.
Yeah, also fun fact, Michael has re-downloaded it and I updated mine today, so that should be fun.
Fun
And
fact, I still have it installed. I just haven't touched it in a while.
Oh yeah, the uptake took me probably about like half an hour today, and then we turned it on and we went, we have no idea what we were doing.
That's awesome. Anytime a game comes out and has all these announcements for lots of content, it's always worth it giving it another go.
Also when it's free.
Do that.
Yeah, I was about to say, and
too.
the keyword being free, because the entire game is free, and there are not pay-to-win things in the game. So you can buy, like,
awesome.
I guess they're called Warframes in the game, but for anyone who doesn't know, it's basically like your character, and it controls which abilities you have. And you can pay to get those quicker, but you can acquire them through the game without ever paying for it and that kind of stuff. So if you're a free gamer, definitely give it a check out. And all of the updates are always free. So
Yeah, I'm interested to see the new graphics, because I mean, speaking of a free-to-play game and how old the game is, it's still very pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look bad.
They're doing like the textures of your Warframe are going to be a lot more like clean, and like you can see them a lot better, and their reflections are going to be on point.
Yeah. The for anyone interested,
and your ship's going to be wider, which is going to be great, so it's not going to feel nearly as claustrophobic.
for anyone interested, they did an Imperium demo where they show like Railjack combat and all of that, and that entire thing is running on the new engine. So if you want to check it out, that's a good way to see some. I think it was like 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay
That they all did live, so that was
they were very
impressive.
stressed about it. They were like, we put this build out 11 p.m. last night, and we're gonna do it live.
You know what I wish they had in Warframe, where you could put a VR headset and actually emulate what you're doing
That would be really cool.
as you're playing. I've been wanting that for a while. Just to, I want to pull the sword out. So like
But
the
I
sword
can't do
motions.
backflips.
I was about to say, I can't move like that, so like, if you can, that's
Barrel
great, but like, no. Also,
If you can, I underestimated you. You might be one of the first
Please
who can
teach
do that.
us.
I cannot do those spinny things through the air.
Maybe one day I'll move. my
Moving
camera.
on. Smitch, you had a roundtable question that you wanted to pose to everybody this week.
Yeah, so I don't know if this is something we'll do every week, but it's kind of a thought that I've had in the back of my head that I thought it would be fun for each of us. We've kind of done like fact questions where we all kind of went around and gave our personal stance on things, but I think it'd be interesting to do kind of an opinion-based question since each of us kind of has a different view on streaming. We've had different experiences and things like that. So this week, kind of the question I had is something that's unique about Facebook, and that when you're in chat on Facebook, typically it is going to use your actual name. So when you're chatting, it's typically tied to your actual Facebook account. So for instance, mine will show up as Michael because that's my actual name, that's my Facebook account. But as streamers, we have the option to change who we're chatting as, and by that I mean I have a little button up at the top of chat that I can click and I can switch it. Oh no, someone left. Come back.
I think Jace was having issues.
Sorry.
He's
No,
back.
you're good.
Yeah.
But you can click the little button and I can switch to our page, Tater and Smitch, and all comments in chat will then show up as our page. And traditionally, most people who come from platforms like Twitch and stuff like that probably don't think it's a big deal, but it's, for a while, it was actually kind of considered taboo on Facebook, and it was seen as advertising yourself. So I'm kind of curious what each of your personal takes on that is.
My personal take on it, if you're my friend and I know you and you're not doing it in a hey, come watch me kind of thing, or I've played with you before, it's fine. If you're somebody completely random, I don't know you, and you're just kind of like, oh, that's awesome, this is how I do it on my channel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not a fan of that. I think it's kind of rude. If it's an accident, because I've done it accidentally multiple times to Tater and Smitch, because on mobile, the switching
Facebook chat
between...
on mobile is just like, we're gonna like ignore everything that happens on there
Yeah.
because you can't control it at all.
Yeah, that's fine. Like if it's an accident, or if you're just viewing and you don't say, "Hey, come check out my channel," and you're not being vindictive about it, then it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. That's my personal take. If I know you, you're my friend. I've probably played with you, and I've probably put your channel in a post, or I've credit your channel sometime. It's fine.
Yeah.
If I don't know you, just don't do it.
What about you, Jace?
I guess it doesn't bother me personally. Just because I don't know. I see it as like it's different to me from like blatantly
Oh, I think we lost you, Jace, if you're still there.
I think it's you, dear. I still have him.
Hold on. Give me a second. Let me disconnect. Reconnect. Gotta love voice chat or
We
video
good?
chat. Yeah, we're good. Go for it.
Okay.
It's catastrophic when it's on my end.
I was just saying, I think I see it as two different things whether somebody's commenting as their page or whether they're commenting or trying to advertise their channel, and I feel like it's pretty easy to tell if they're trying to advertise their channel or not. To me, it doesn't bother me, but also I'm so awful with names. Smitch, I didn't know who you were. You came in on your personal profile. I was like, oh, cool guy named so and so. He's hanging out, and it took. I think it probably took me like 2 or 3 streams for it to actually click, just because you never actually said, "Oh yeah, this is Smitch."
Yeah, I'm really bad
And
about that.
I've had that happen with a few other streamers. So I mean, honestly, if it's someone I know and I interact with you, I don't care. Personally, I don't care if you comment as your page. It's going to make it easier for me to remember who you are. But I guess that's just me. That's just my take. I don't see it as bothering. Now, if you are, like proactively trying to advertise your channel, no.
Yeah.
I'm going to delete that. Like
That's
if
a
you're being
different
annoying,
issue.
I want to delete that. Don't do that. But I feel like you can tell a difference between someone who's just commenting under their page name versus trying to get some free followers or views or anything.
Yeah. How about you, Rev?
I'm gonna say pretty. I'm on both sides of that. I hear both of you guys on that. I agree with both of your standpoints on it. For me, it doesn't matter with me when it comes to putting your real name out there. And as far as that goes, I don't mind advertising because I want to support everybody. So I don't mind advertising from a random person or even somebody I know because I want to support everybody as much as I can. So if I see something new on Facebook, either a stream or not, I want to go and support it anyway. I kind of gravitate to it because I want to help out. Now, as far as my personal Facebook, everybody knows that I stream on it or stream, to my like page and then share it over. So everybody knows. Not everybody's annoyed about it because most of everybody I know on my Facebook are mostly gamers. So it's kind of cool in that aspect because they don't realize that I stream games. So I get to see a lot of them come over and go, "Oh, I didn't know you stream." So it's really cool in that aspect. As far as the random stuff, I just don't like that, period. I find that a little annoying when a random person comes in and starts doing the whole sharing, come over here, do this, do that. It's kind of like on a different platform. Same thing. I don't like that either.
Yeah, I was kind of curious what your opinion would be coming from Twitch because I know on Twitch everyone is always their page. So
yeah. I don't mind my real name being shown in a, like page when I'm typing. I don't mind it. I wish that they would allow you on your main page to you could toggle like from your main page, instead of having to go this, move over and do other options. I wish they would just let you when you go into somebody's stream where they could tell you, do you want to be your real name or do you want to be your username? So you could toggle between the two like a switch. So who you're chatting, that person knows, who the username is because more people know me for my user than my real name.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, and I guess my other thought maybe would be like, it doesn't apply to me, but maybe like privacy concerns too as well. I mean, honestly, if you're streaming on Facebook, you got to throw your privacy.
You pretty much gave that away.
But I mean, like I don't I like sharing other people's streams and that kind of stuff too, and supporting them as much as I can. But I actually don't post. I don't share other people's streams or even my own streams to my personal page. I don't keep it a secret on there. That I'm streaming. Like my personal Facebook page, I've got the same banner as my stream page. But I could see how some people might want to kind of keep that separated. Family, close family and friends separated from, viewers or random people who come in who might be a little more toxic and have nothing better to do on their time than mess around on the internet. So, I mean, just another thought I had.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Tater?
Yeah, I think I have like a twofold. I don't mind at all when people share our streams to their gaming pages because I think that's a lot more consistency in your page, so you don't just get a random timeline that has your stream on it, but it's actually a gaming community that's something that they expect to see. At me personally, I prefer to see people's real names. It's easier for me to say you're a real person because you have a real name instead of just you're some figment on the internet. But again, if it's you guys, someone who I'm close to and I know and talk to on a regular basis, then I don't care. It's just that. And then we are in a gaming community where meta.gg, they do most of their things are all gamer tag related. So when those guys come into our stream, it's easier to tell them apart when they're using their gamer tag because there's a lot of them and I have no idea what all of their real names are. So sometimes that's nice. Or if they are using their personal profile, just being hey, I am so-and-so, and that's fine. If you're going to say hey, I'm so-and-so, and then you're going to talk as yourself, that's what I would prefer, but I understand that sometimes Facebook isn't as easy to switch on and off as we would like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel just personally, it's something that's kind of evolved over the past year. So I feel back 6 months ago even, I probably would have been on the side where I'm like, don't use your personal page unless like we're good friends, we play together, that kind of thing. But the more we grow and network with other streamers, I feel like if it's genuine networking where you're trying to form a relationship with another streamer and something like that, it may be more beneficial to use your stream name. And I actually talked to a couple other creators, and they're like, please use your stream name, kind of for the same reason you were saying, Jace. They're like, I'm not going to recognize your personal page or put one and one together. So sometimes, at least for that sake of networking, it's easier to use your gaming page. But personally, I tend to use my personal page more because 50% of the time I'm actually just in there hanging out, and I don't necessarily want that person to know I stream. Like, if it happens organically and they end up coming over to my page, I'm like, cool. But I don't know. I think it's because we've been here through that change, and I'm still getting my mindset shifted to, yeah, it's okay. But that's kind of where I stand on it.
I think like my issue is like I haven't had experiences where it's other streamers coming in to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's all been like they just drop their link or hey, come see my channel, and they go, and that's why I'm on the fence of just don't do it.
Yeah. So I think you have to be careful if you're someone going in as your gaming page, don't be turned away from it, but definitely be cautious of how you interact if you're doing that. Go in there for genuine interaction, and maybe even if you're using your gaming page, don't be like, I'm a streamer too. Like, people can infer that if you're using a page name and that kind of thing, and it can come across the wrong way, even if that's not what you mean. If it comes up organically in conversation, I think that's fine. If they're like, hey, does anyone have suggestions for this? And you're like, oh, actually, I stream too. You could try this out. That's fine. But
yeah, focus is still on them. It's their stream.
Yeah.
Not yours. Yeah. All right. So what has everybody been playing this week? Rev, what have you been playing all week long?
Days Gone. Days Gone.
Really?
Days Gone is a really fun game. Like, it's Last of Us meets Zero Horizon Dawn. I'm getting back in the whole PS4 thing. Like, having it back is just, oh man, having it back. Zero Horizon Dawn, to be able to finish that is just going to be an amazing thing.
Nice. Sound like fun games. I haven't had a chance to play them yet.
Yeah, I heard kind of mixed reviews, but if you're loving it, I'm glad.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Sycoskrast, what have you been playing?
Not much on
Word.
stream, at least. I've worked a lot this week. We did Destiny one night with you guys, actually.
Yeah.
We did Fallout earlier this week, but off stream I've been playing a lot of Mario Maker 2. I've been making levels, and I've been playing people's levels, and it's really good. If you got a Switch, go out there and get it and try to beat my levels.
Very nice. Tater, Smitch, what about you guys?
Destiny, Borderlands, both 2 and the pre-sequel. I think we're done with 2 for at least a while because boss fights keep crashing Michael's game, so we're going to have to stay away from that. And I think we played Stardew one day. I think that's all we got this week.
Yeah, we've been shooting lots of mans.
Looter shooters! Woo!
Very nice.
We're creeping up on that 750 power level, so we're sucked back into the grind.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much just been doing Overwatch as usual, and then Destiny raiding with you guys, and I did get back into a little bit of GTA Online, or GTA 5 Online the other day, which I hadn't played it since it first came out on the 360, so it was kind of fun. There's a lot of changes. It's been kind of fun getting back into that. All right, RevTec. We're coming towards the end of the episode, so we are going to ask you some rapid fire questions. You need to answer as fastly or as quickly as possible.
Nope, as fastly. Perfect.
As fastly as possible. And we'll just try to bang these out real quick. Are you ready, sir?
Yes, I'm ready.
Are you sitting down, braced, ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Red.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Best tip for someone just starting streaming?
Watch YouTube.
Who's your favorite streamer?
Oh man, pressure.
Time's running out.
Oh God. None at the moment.
None. Okay. Cows or chickens?
Cows.
Favorite video game franchise?
Gears of War.
OBS, Streamlabs, or XSplit?
Both.
There were
There
three
were three of them,
options.
but okay.
There's three.
Well, okay. Streamlabs OBS. There you go.
Okay.
Okay. Xbox or PS4?
Xbox.
2 times 2 plus 6 equals.
Oh God. Oh my God. 2 times. Oh God.
2 times 2 plus
I
6
lost-
equals.
Repeat that one more time.
2
Oh my
times
God.
2 plus 6.
10.
There you
There we
go.
What food do you hate the most?
Oh man, that's tough too. Sushi.
What kind of mouse do you use?
G305.
If you could ride any mythical animal into battle, what would it be?
Unicorn.
Nice. You got that one quicker than I expected.
Very nice.
We're done grilling you. You can take a breath now.
Breathe.
Yeah.
You passed the test. All right, guys. Yep. So we are down to the end of the episode. Tater and Smitch, where can we find you guys?
We are Tater and Smitch. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we have a Gmail account if you feel a need to email us.
It's just Tater and Smitch at Gmail. So
We're Tater and Smitch everywhere because that's not a common name.
Sycoskrast, where can we find you?
You can find me at facebook.com/Sycoskrast. You can find me on Instagram at Sycoskrast. You can find me at Twitter at TheSycoskrast.
All right. And Rev, anything you want to plug in?
Yeah, you can find me on everything. RevTec TTV.
cool.
Fantastic. And I'm TheMockingJace TV. You can find me on that everywhere. If you guys have any questions for our podcast or any specific members, you can always send us an email at justfaceitpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook or wherever. We live stream this every Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then the video version will go up on YouTube and the audio version will go up on pretty much all the podcast services.
I do
but-
have a quick plug. If
Yes.
you guys have any content creators that you know, most specifically on Facebook, that you would like for us to try and get on this podcast, shoot us
Let us
their name,
know.
drop it in a comment, whatever you want to do. We're going to try and start having as many people on the podcast as we can. We like to have guests each week to get that fresh opinion for you guys. So if you have someone in mind, let us know, and we will reach out and do our best to get them on here.
Absolutely.
Anyone else have
Alrighty.
anything?
Have a wonderful night.
All right. That's it, guys. We will see you all later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.